Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going over a prospect and I'm going to be auditing it. I'm going to be auditing their e-commerce brand. They make around $1 million a month and they requested for a quick audit. Now, usually how I like to structure my audits is as follows. So first I want to look into what growth conditions they have available. What is the brand about? What are they doing other than SEO, outside of SEO? The other thing is I want to see what is the technical nature of that website. Usually it's on Shopify because I only do a Shopify right now. The technical issues, I'm going to go over the Shopify out of the box technical issues, the main ones. And yeah, I'm just going to go over them. Just keep in mind that I don't have the backend access. I'm just doing like a front-end audit where I'm using the tools at my disposal to kind of like dig in as much as possible and kind of give them some upfront feedback. So that's the second thing. The third thing I like to do is analyze the store performance, the SEO performance on the search, and see like what pages are pulling up the most traffic, what keywords they are ranking for, what is their historical data looking like, and then from there I would kind of like extract the data and then start building kind of like a audit report. And from there, I go into the navigation menu, see how they structure the navigation menu, how their collections are set up, how their category pages are set up, how their product pages are set up, and all of that stuff. Number 5 is I go into the blog strategy and see what kind of blogs they have done in the past. Now I see that there was some type of SEO that has been done, but I'm gonna review it, see the overall blog strategy they used, and then kind of audit their on-page. And from there, I'm gonna look into their collections and see like what on-page SEO they have on their collection and how we can improve it. And from there, I'm just gonna take notes and present them the document. So yeah, that's pretty much my audit process, especially when I don't have access. Also, I'm not doing a streaming frog crawl just because it's going to take too long. It's a big site, a lot of products. So yeah, I'm just going to keep it as brief as possible. I hope you guys enjoy it, and then let's get started. First things first, that's the website Tote & Carry. They sell a lot of bags. Now, the first thing I want to look into is what kind of bags they are selling and to who. So from the navigation menu here, you can see that they are selling for women's, for men's, and they also emphasize the color, so you can also have a lot of collections set up by color. And the other thing is shop by collection. That's pretty much their own internal drops, like what type of bags they are doing or they are manufacturing. Now the first thing I want to look into is the growth conditions available. So we want to look into if they are spending money on ads, Google ads or whatever. And I want to look into their inventory, the size of their inventory, and then the branded search. So quickly, if you come up here, let's say you go into the Site Explorer, type Tote & Carry.com, I would immediately see that the traffic they are having, they are pretty much pulling like 5.5k clicks a month. And I want to look at the keywords and the branded keywords especially. So Tote & Carry bags. So there is very good volume around their branded keywords. That's a sign that they are running ads. And if I want to double check, I would go into Facebook ads library, right? And I would immediately see if they are, like, confirm if they are running ads or not. So yeah, they have 160 ads running active, so they are making money and they are pushing people on the search to search for their brands. So that's a very good positive signal that this brand has. Now the other thing I want to go after is the inventory. Now if I want to look into inventory quick, I can see that they have a lot of inventory. How I know that is, let's say I click on this collection and then you have an unlimited amount of scroll. So that's kind of easy to figure. Now let's see here, the women's as well, the tote bags for women, they have a bunch as well. So they definitely have more than 50 to 100 products. So that's also a good amount to have. And then the third thing I want to look into is the ad spend, the branded search. So yeah, we look into the brand search, we look into the inventory, and then we look into the ad spend. We confirm they are running ads. So in the best case scenario, this brand has these 3 pillars that I usually look for when I'm starting. So it's really good for us to work with them, and we pretty much can guarantee results in a very short period of time. Now, if I'm gonna jump into the technical issues, I'm gonna start by looking into the homepage, and I'm trying to see if they actually worked with another SEO agency, because I think they did in the past. I don't know what they did to them, but you can see the header here is Tote & Carry. They have 2 H1s. So the first H1 is actually a logo, and the second H1 is the actual H1 here. Okay, no, they don't have it, so they did not fix it. So one main issue, technical issue with the Shopify is that the logo usually is the H1 on the homepage. You want to revert it back to just like a normal H1 where it says Tote & Carry as a brand, or be a bit more descriptive. But yeah, we want to give Google some text, not an image, for it to guess what it is. Now the other thing I want to look into when it comes to technical SEO, I use this plugin here to go into the common SEO issues. keywords and see all of the pages that are not supposed to be indexed on Google. So I want to look into the Google index by pretty much copy pasting this code here, and then you can see they have 10 pages of spam pages. And if you want to look, these are pages that are not supposed to be there. They need to block them out of the SERPs. Now, how you do that is you go into the robot.txt file on the site here, robot.txt, and then you're going to add another one where you disallow all of the vendors, the tags, the variants, all that stuff. If we type vendor, no, they don't have it here. They don't have it added here, so they need to add that in the robot.txt. So you can disallow access to these pages, and then you request removal from Google Search Console to remove these pages. That's pretty much it when it comes to the index. Now, the other thing I want to look into is the store performance analysis. Now, if I'm going to look into their overview, I can see that they have a 44DR, which is great. That means they have a bunch of authority generated. Now, the other thing that's going for them is they have a baseline SEO that they are working with, which is they're getting like 5,600 clicks per month. So that's a really good baseline to start working on. Now, the other thing I want to look into is their historical performance, which means what has happened in the last 6 months. Now, this is the last 2 years. Let's see, last 6 months. You can see there was a huge drop. So around January 2025, they pretty much doubled their organic traffic up to 11,000 clicks a month, and then all of a sudden they just dropped hard and went back to their initial traffic. So as an SEO specialist, I want to look into what has happened within that period. I want to compare the time where traffic spiked and kind of analyze where this traffic came from, and then I want to compare it to right now when the traffic dropped and see what pages did actually bring that traffic and then we lost them, or what pages in general just had a spike and then they lost the keywords they are ranking for. So that's the first analysis I want to make right now. I'm going to go into it right now. And then the other thing is I want to look into this traffic, this amount of traffic, where is it coming from what keywords, and based on the keywords that this traffic is generated by, I can understand if that traffic is informational or transactional, because we always want to have like around 60 to 80% of the traffic coming into the store to be transactional and then the rest to be informational. So I want to see that balance. So yeah, let's get started. So the first thing I would do is I come to the top pages here on Ahrefs, and then I look into comparing today versus March 11th, because that's when we saw that there was a spike on the search. Now after that, I'm looking into the pages, I'm looking into where the changes happened, the most change happened. So I want to look into the traffic, and then I want to go from lowest to highest so I can see where they actually lost the most traffic. So now the first thing I can understand is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So almost all of the pages that have lost the most amount of traffic are collection pages. So that means we lost a lot of transactional traffic. Now, if I'm looking at that, I'm seeing that, okay, laptop bags, they lost the laptop bags where they were ranking number 3 for it, and it's like 5,000 searches per month. So that made a huge impact on their searches. So from them going to ranking from laptop bags on the 3rd position to ranking number 1 for tote and carry laptop bags, which is a branded search, not ideal. We want to make sure that we revisit that page when we start building the roadmap and make sure that it goes back to ranking number 1, 2, 3 for laptop bags. Now the other one is, as you can see here, they were ranking number 2 for pink travel bag, and it was generating 6,800 clicks. Now they are ranking number 10 for pink travel bag. Actually, this is pink tote bag. And yeah, so you see the difference? That's why they have lost so much traffic on these. Another one, mini tote bag. Now, actually, this is new. They actually lost 19 positions on that thing here. That's why they lost almost all of the traffic that it was generating. So we go over this list here, and what I like to do is I like to export it, go all 967 rows, which means they have 967 indexed pages at the moment. I want to import it up here. Append to current sheet, and then once I line up all this content here, I want to clean this up. So I want to make sure that the previous traffic and current traffic is there, so I can see the difference, the delta between where they were and where they are right now, and kind of pitch them properly. So the traffic change, I keep it there. Previous traffic value, current traffic value change, I don't care about these. Previous number of views, current number, I don't care. Keyword change, I don't care. Previous top keyword and current top keyword, I care about them because it's gonna help me dictate what's the primary keyword for each page and where website should go. Now, previous top keyword, current top keyword, countries, I don't care about it. So pretty much this is the data I need to start analyzing the performance and giving them a better keyword report. Let me do this real quick. All right, so current top position keyword, okay. I don't care about this. All right, cool. So now we exported that. What I like to do, and I like to look into patterns with the performance. So I like to label each page by the page type it has. So let's say we have page type here, and if I'm gonna filter this, I'm gonna look into the 3 page buckets on a Shopify site, which are collection pages, and I'm gonna have text contains collections, which means all of these pages are filtered by collections. So I'm gonna label all of them collections, and they have a healthy amount of collections, so it kind of tells me that there was some type of SEO done there. Okay, now the other thing I want to look into is the blogs. Now if I look into blog like that, it's gonna give me a list of blogs, blog, and then the other thing I want to do is the products, because now be careful, there's going to be internal product links, which means it's just following the collection. That's another thing we need to fix, because as you can see here, there's a collection, crossbody men, product, and then the product name. But that's a duplicate page of the actual product page, which you can pretty much just delete all of this, and then it takes you to the same place. This is just like the breadcrumb. It shows you the path to get to that product. So I don't care much about it right now, but that's something you need to fix when you're doing the technical SEO. So all of these collections will be relabeled as products because they are actual product links. Okay, after that, what I want to do is remove the filter, and can I just give this a quick cleanup real quick? Boom. Now, of course, I want to look at the traffic share per page so I can understand where they were in terms of what kind of pages were generating the most traffic versus what pages they weren't generating traffic. But again, before I do that, I want to look into percentage of traffic, total traffic. Okay, now before I do that, I want to look into the patterns, as I said. So when I label every page by page type, I can understand at what page level the drop happened and where did they lose the most amount of traffic from. So what I do is I look into the traffic change, boom, A to Z, and then I see that all of these are mainly collections. You can see collection here, just like I showed you in Ahrefs. I'm just like reanalyzing it because I want to look into, okay, the collections are mainly the ones that are losing the traffic. We are losing keyword positions. So what I like to do is kind of figure out the categorization of all of these pages. So what that means is category, and then based on their categories, let's go back to their site real quick. Carry. Oops, this is just blog. Okay, I want to look into the categorization of the entire website, and that's where I'm going back into my document and look into the navigation menu. Now you can see that the top level layers are shop for women and shop for men, right? Now under shop for women, there's the tote bags, the purses, the backpacks. That's the type of bag, which means that's another category you need to list here. So first you have the gender, of course. Now you have the category. You of course have the material, because as you can see on the site there's the material filter, and then we also have another one, which is the color, right? Now what this helps me do is kind of zoom in into the site's segments and site's topical ecosystems and clusters, so I can understand if I'm gonna rank for laptop bags again, right? I'm gonna bring them back up to the search and get this traffic back. I want to look into the ecosystem around laptop bags. So what I do here, just ignore gender for now. I'm going to start with a category, or instead of category, let's do bag type. And I want to look into laptop, all of the pages that have laptop in them and their URL. And you can see you have around, give or take, 18 pages around laptop bag. So laptop bag. Now within that laptop bag, you can see the page types. The page types here, you have, let's do that real quick. You have this many products. Of course, that's the most logical way to do it. And then we have one collection. That's the page 2 of the collection. And then you have 3 blogs. Tote Carry, the new black, how to measure a laptop bag, best leather laptop bag for ladies, top 5 best leather laptop bags on a budget. And these blogs tells me that there wasn't some SEO done there, and they actually targeted really good blogs. Now, if I want to go back and get the traffic that's lost, I want to double down on optimizing the collections for the right keywords and the collection, and then growing the blog ecosystem. So what I mean by this is that, okay, I come here and I see that I have 3 blogs supporting one collection, right? 3 blogs supporting one collection. Now, if I go back and look into the keyword explorer, look into laptop bags, and I think they are in Australia. Actually, no, where were they ranking? Okay, so just for the sake of this, I'm gonna tap Australia and then look into the laptop bags. Now, what I want to see here, I want to look into the SERPs, and the first person that's ranking there is Crumpler.com. The second one is Samsonite.com. The third one is JBHiFi.com, right? And of course, they have really all of what's ranking there is collections. So I will take this link here. I'll go back to the site explorer and focus here because this is very important. I take off everything that has to do with the page path, and I want to look into the domain itself, the overall domain, and see within their top pages how many pages they have around laptop bags. So I'll type laptop right there, and as you can see, they have 3 pages up here, and these are going to be their collection pages. Now they have a collection for laptop bags, they have a collection for laptop sleeves. Now where is, okay, let me just remove this. I don't want to compare. All right, cool. So as you can see, they have 3 pages, 2 collection pages to be exact, that are ranking for this. What I want to look into is the bags. Now, in this scenario, when you're looking at laptop bags like that, or laptop bag, I'm looking into how big the ecosystem on their site is versus how big the ecosystem on my site is. And here it's showing that they have 2 collection pages getting 2.9k traffic, which is a lot of traffic. First case scenario is that their ecosystem is bigger than us, which means we have to fill up our own ecosystem to match up the amount of pages we have versus them. The second thing here in that scenario is that to look into the backlinks coming into these collection pages. Now, if I'm gonna take that page itself, sorry, here, copy link address, put it back up here, I'm gonna see what collections, what backlinks is it coming from, and you can see the referring domains, and you can see that there is this many domains with this many do follow links. So what that means is I will have to pretty much build as many backlinks to that collection page for me to beat them. So you cover the content basis, then you cover the backlink basis, and see what's the discrepancy, what's the gap between us and them. Now, before I get to the backlinks, actually, since we have these 3 blogs there, I would want to look into it, and I would want to see if there's any broken links, any of that stuff that's happening here. As you can see, this blog is pretty much useless because there's no linking back to the actual collection, right? So what that means is there's no link equity being passed on or topical authority being passed on to the collection page because there's no links there. So if we look at the other one here, we will see that there's a lot of pages. Now, let's start opening that stuff up and see if there's any broken pages. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of broken links up here. Look, 404 pages, another 404 pages. And that's why they lost the ranking, mainly because these issues will pretty much break the authority flow. And then if these links were properly implemented at the time of writing this blog, now they are broken, and these 2 blogs were supporting that collection page. Once these links were broken, now there's nothing to support these pages. So I hope you guys understand the logic here. Now let's look into the last blog and see why they are not ranking. Now again, let's do that. Yeah, these are all broken links. This is just the homepage link. So yeah, now that's the first thing, that's the audit, or that's kind of like the first step into fixing the rankings for that specific collection. Because again, it's not about the individual collection, it's about the ecosystem around that topic, which means the blogs and the collection. That's pretty much it. That's how I run through the entire thing. Now, what I like to do is once I fill up all of this stuff, I'll have a better picture on what's really happening. So let's kind of do this real quick. So we did the laptop bags. Now let's do another one, which is totes, right? Tote bag. So let's do tote. Oops, sorry, let's do that because it's in the thing. And you can see now tote. And then that's the entire ecosystem. That's all of the pages that contribute towards the tote authority or the tote keyword, if you want to call it that. Now, if I want to dissect it by gender, I'll just have to look through it by, or kind of just understand like how the navigation structure is. And then from there, I would look into the material. So let's do crocodile. And then I'll do the material here, crocodile. Now, what happens is crocodile tote bag. That's going to be the keyword that they rank for. Or look, hot pink tote bag, crocodile tote bag, all of that stuff. Now, they also lost traffic here. So what this tells me is that, okay, if we want to rank there, I want to look into the shopping pages, how many shopping pages they have versus how many blog pages they have. And then I would run through the same exact process. So here, the bag type is a level where it has its own keyword, but also the material is another attribute to the main keyword, which is the bag type. So tote, crocodile bag, or crocodile tote bag, that's what's being searched on the search. What that tells us is that we have to run through the exact same process and then figure out how many collections, how many blogs we have on the site, and then compare them to whoever is ranking number one there, just like I showed you guys. Alrighty, so after I have all of this, let me just kind of clean it up real quick. I would pretty much just like put all of these underneath here together, right? I would also want to do this as well with them. I would look into the traffic changes and all of that stuff as well. By the way, this is an audit with somebody who's been doing SEO to some level or to some extent. So that's how we start with it. But if somebody's trying to start from scratch, there's nothing to audit, then it's kind of different. We prioritize auditing the keywords and who's ranking for them and kind of informing our strategy based on that. So you have to use your own discretion when it comes to applying the same method I use now. All right, cool. So let's take this off. And that's gonna be the main part of the audit. Let's see what we have else. So the blog strategy. Let's look into the blogs and what they have been doing on the blog level, because it's very important for me to look into that. Very good. I would go again, top pages, look into the URLs that have blogs. So it will give me a list of all the blogs that I have. I can do the same thing on the spreadsheet, but here I can have it faster. Okay, so let's go open this one, open these ones, and let's analyze these two blogs and kind of figure out what's happening there. So how to get a zipper back on track. So let's say this is a very informational blog, which means that just like explaining how you fix a broken zipper slider. Now, can you sell through this blog? Not really, because what's happening here is it's gonna pretty much rank for things that are not transactional, right? If somebody's looking to fix a zipper, I don't think it's necessarily looking to buy something. So it's not in my priority list to optimizing these blogs. Now, if I want to look at something else like best designer totes, I would 100% focus on this blog more than the other one, because what's happening here is that blog is giving us the opportunity to rank for best designer tote bags, and within that blog we want to insert ourselves. Now, the way the blog is structured is kind of like, it's the mindset coming into building a blog like this is not from a advertorial or ads perspective. It's coming from like, okay, I'm gonna post a generic SEO post and that's gonna be it, right? It's not building that blog with this mindset of, okay, I need to convert this traffic because that's gonna be high intent traffic. People are looking for designer totes and I'm gonna insert myself there, and I'm gonna make sure that people will click on mine against the others, because I'm gonna have to pretty much insert somebody's else or other websites in my blog. So how do I get all of the spotlight into my own product and kind of create a gap between me and my competitors and really position myself as the best solution for them or the best designer tote bag for them? So first we start by showcasing their product in the first spot. Now, this is made out of like, okay, we have to do a blog post. It's not made, okay, we have to create a landing page where people will land and then inform themselves and then buy. So first what I would do is add a add to cart button to all of our products. The other thing is I would add a content table going through, okay, this is the TLDR basically of what's in that blog. The other thing is I would add, actually they have the chatbot, so that's good. Now I also want to add more pictures here. The other thing I would add is, actually before we add, we have to fix the broken links on these blogs, and then we should add links back to our products. And then what I like to do is usually add a FAQ section to handle the objections and the uncertainties they have before buying or looking into that product. And one more thing I like to do personally is add reviews and UGCs. So just like these pictures here, we want to add reviews to them and kind of like have like emotional reviews, like how this bag made them feel, all of that stuff. So nonetheless, for these blogs, they definitely need to be revamped. And yeah, that's pretty much it from the blog perspective. Of course, when we're tackling blogs, we want to make sure that the blogs are used as supporting pages for the collections, and based on the business priorities and based on what the client wants to move stock first and what he wants to optimize, we align these priorities with market opportunities. Now, the market opportunities will dictate how many blogs we need to create or how many blogs we need to refresh. So that's pretty much it for this audit. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed how I think as an SEO specialist. It gave you a little bit more insights into what it takes to kind of like do an audit. You can find any type of technical audit on YouTube. So I didn't dive into this, but that's gonna be like the top level of how we think about it and how we outrank people and how we can get them back to where they were when they were generating 11, 12,000 clicks and beyond. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Drop me a comment if you have any questions or anything like this. And yeah, if you actually want an audit for your own brand or your e-commerce store, just hit me up on LinkedIn or apply to work with us. Peace.